Hey everybody, welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I'm TheOutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm cheating you.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And today we watched Magia Record 10. And last week I watched Tokyo Mew Mew 43 to 46. So we had a week off for everyone to catch up. Did everyone catch up?
Yes?
Really?
No.
I played the fifth.
Yeah, we're just gonna go because you guys kind of remember.
I mean, yeah. We got the episode descriptions up, so yeah. I kind of remember where we're going.
More importantly, though, let's start with Magia Record because we just finished watching that, and some stuff happened today.
This was honestly one of my favorite episodes of the show.
This was a better episode. I think this is a better episode than we've been getting lately. We confirmed some stuff. We learned some new things. We got some character development that didn't take up the whole episode and bog the whole thing down.
Yep.
I think as we're going into the home stretch, they're starting to get their writing game together a little bit. If only they had known that a little bit earlier. But today I'm gonna try not to complain too much. So what happened? We kind of picked up where we left off last week when the AI got destroyed, and Sana was, I guess, dealing with the fact that she's lonely.
Yep.
I think it's the best way to summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
They crashed through I want to call it a witch labyrinth, but it's more of a wasa labyrinth or something.
It was the Endless Solitude.
That's right, that's what they called it. So they do that, then they start free falling.
Mm-hmm. Free falling.
Yeah! And
That green hair girl from last week goes crazy.
Alina?
I was just going to ask what her name was. Yeah. She shows up, and she is very powerful, or at least has a very unique set of magical girl abilities going on.
She was, if you were looking at her eyes and her soul gem.
But she's very much ready to go berserk witch mode.
Oh yeah, no, like that's just, I think her power set is like, aside from like the weird cubey things.
Well, not QB, but when you say QB, it's hard to say QB without thinking we mean QB. She has square Pokeballs, basically, that can capture witches.
Yep.
Again, something new we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
We knew that people were using witches, like the Yin&Jung twins. Mm-hmm. Not the rap group. You know what we're talking about. Tsukisaka, Suki, whatever their names were. They're the twins. They're the only twins in the show.
I want to say their names are like Tsukasa and something else.
Just call them the
Tsukasa,
Wonder Twins.
Tsukisa, whatever. Mikasa, Tsukasa have been using witches, but they've been like using flutes and stuff, and we knew that they could summon them from wherever, or at least had them around, but this is the first time we're seeing someone actually capture and store a witch's power. Which is, yeah, you could easily, and it's like very compact, you could transport that somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of different abilities you could, and like different things that you could do with that sort of ability. But yeah, she starts capturing spare witches that are flying around now that the Endless Solitude has been destroyed. We're not quite sure what the Endless Solitude was for, other than capturing things. Maybe it was like sort of like a Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic time chamber kind of thing, where they just grew witches to be more powerful, and so they could use them later.
I think like the Endless Solitude is more like it's designed to make you feel lonely, but the AI or I like developed a bond with Sana, and she didn't want to keep her there anymore. So,
but like, I'm trying to think, why would they need that? We understand that negative emotions can fuel witches, and they want their witches powerful if they're going to use them. So, was it like a thing that you could harvest stuff from to use?
It's possible.
Yeah. But that's gone, so they can't use that anymore unless they make some more of them.
I mean, because they also had another Uwasa with like the Magic Owl water, like
True.
that was also an Uwasa. So I'm like.
They have a number of them around town, which I think they bring up later.
Yeah, I think they keep creating them.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they break that, and then there's I think the thing that was holding... I'm assuming the robot thing. The robot thing with the antenna was what was holding the Endless Solitude together or something, or was at least projecting it. It's really hard to say what it was, because it's definitely not the AI, unless it was what the AI was stored in.
I think That might have been like the electric wave.
Okay. Yeah.
Electric wave girl. Maybe. Don't quote me. I don't know.
It's a little weird. It kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit, but yeah, it's a big machine that I get that they turn it on to magnet mode, and it just like starts sucking in matter of all sorts until Alina throws a vending machine into it and it blows up.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that's like, it's probably causing throwing a monkey wrench into the Magius's plans. Or not, I'm not really sure, because the twins are like, oh, how could you do that to us? We're going to get in so much trouble for this. And Alina's like, I don't give a shit. And then Mammy shows up.
I think Alina's just kind of out for her own.
Sure, but like she seems to be using the same kind of stuff that the Magiuses.
Yeah.
And she's definitely not on the side of what we would consider our protagonist heroes.
Yes.
So what is she up to?
Maybe she's just like a loose alliance with them, or like she's considered a member, but she's like, yeah, I gotta do what
Well,
I
I
want.
mean, her name is Alina Gray.
Mm-hmm.
She's the gray area.
Well, I had complaints last week about, introducing characters this late and, like, why am I going to care? I think her powers are interesting. I still don't know, like, if they're going to be able to fully develop her in an interesting way before the end.
At least not by the end of this season, but if they do end up going on and making, like, a second part of this, like, they're going to flesh her out a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think there's any other way to do it at this point. There's no way you're going to be able to wrap everything up in a coherent thing. We covered that last week. If you want to hear us talk about that, go look at last week's episode, because we didn't do Mew Mew. It's just Magia Record on that one.
But speaking of allegiances, Al, once again, you are right with.
I can just call things on this show. I can call nothing on any other show but this.
Because Mammy shows up, she scares Alina.
Mammy's a villain. Spoiler. Ta-da!
She's elite. She's aligned with the Wings of the Magius.
Yep. Mm-hmm. She's going for that salvation stuff, and I was like, what did I say? What episode was it? Episode 1 or 2?
No,
or
it was like
something?
episode
Very early
it was
on.
episode
Whenever
3.
she first showed up.
Yeah, you and Chibi had like a 15-minute discussion on whether or not she was going to be a villain.
And now, I'm gonna throw out a little caveat. We don't know for sure, because we kind of discussed this while we were watching. The Wings of the Magius aren't necessarily evil.
Yeah.
They seem to have a good intention, but it's how they're going about it that might cause a lot of pain and hurt towards people.
I'm not sure about this, but Mammy definitely drank that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, she's definitely in one of those. She has one of those ends justify the means mentality.
Yeah.
My question
Good.
is though, did she enter and become a member when she first entered the city at the end of episode 3?
I feel like
Hard to say. We haven't seen her in a while.
I don't think so, because she showed up like episode 4 or 5, and then we haven't seen her for a while. I feel like she joined up with them after that.
Yeah.
Because she kind of seemed to be more still investigating things rather than having a specific purpose at that point.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we see her after Kyoko showed up? Or was
No.
that right before?
That was before Kyoko showed up.
Okay.
We missed, there was no important characters for an episode or 2, and then Kyoko showed up.
Okay. Which we also haven't seen her for a while, so I'm wondering what she's been up to.
Yeah.
She's probably just doing her own thing, causing trouble.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, Mammy believes in the cause of the Wings of the Magius, trying to protect magical girls and preventing them from turning into witches, and
which I get. And we saw flashbacks from
the original
what
show.
I definitely know is episode 2. Because I had to edit that how many goddamn times. Where they're talking about Madoka and Sayaka.
Uh-huh.
At least in vague terms, but we all know. Which brings up an interesting question. We're not entirely sure where this stands in the overall timeline of the original show, or whatever timeline Homer's on.
I think they're dead.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, because when we think about it a little bit, it could be like Steins Gate rules. Yes, Homer goes back in time. Does that mean the world line that she left doesn't exist anymore? Madoka and Sayaka are more than likely dead, and Mammy's trying to rectify for her mistakes.
Well, obviously Madoka didn't go witch mode because the world didn't end.
That's true.
So, yeah, the most likely thing is
And she didn't go god mode because we still have witches.
yeah, so Because when she did go God mode, it's not like they could go berserk and then just not become witches, like, fully, but it's like they fade out of existence when they're given to despair because God's coming to give you salvation. Yeah. Essentially. So, yeah, no, this is probably a timeline where she didn't make a wish and she probably just ended up dead at the hands of Charlotte.
I feel like she did make a wish, but she died as a magical girl. Because I feel like that happened a lot more often than anything else.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what got Homura into it to begin with, because Madoka was a magical girl before Homura was.
Maybe this is based off of... Or maybe this is based off of one of the timelines where Madoka's first wish was
the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her first wish because we remember that from the opening.
But that's all speculation. We don't truly know if that was her wish, but that's the generally accepted theory.
Yeah, at the very least, I think like based on the overall timeline of it, because Homura just recently met Madoka like a day or two after she was out of the hospital. And if they all start from the exact same starting point, Madoka would have had to make that wish like a day before she met Homura.
Yeah.
So that's how she's able to prevent QB from getting to her in a number of the timelines. But yeah, so where was I going with that? Shit. Sorry.
Something about like Madoka's absence.
Yeah, so Madoka's absence definitely says to me she probably was a magical girl, which is why she had a connection to Mammy. Or at the very least, she had became one at some point and then likely died. But it's weird because Mammy usually dies before everybody else.
Yeah.
It depends.
I'm trying to think of... I really feel like I need to go back to like episode 10 and 11 and see like which... Did Mammy ever survive long enough? Because I know she survived long enough to kill everybody in one timeline.
Oh yeah, she did.
But
well, that all depends on like when Homura shows up, what Homura's like MO is in that timeline. Like
she always has the same MO.
Not always, because this is the one that we are introduced to in the original series. She is far more antagonistic than she is in some of the other timelines. So I think if Homura takes the offensive in keeping Madoka away from QB, that is the situation in which like Mammy like dies more before everyone else.
She doesn't have backup.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if they're friends before in other timelines, then like more than likely,
think you're right, yeah.
Because Homura is the one that in the timeline we saw in the original series who did take down Charlotte. So if those two are working together, it makes a little more sense.
Okay, so then this one... Well, I feel like this kind of answers the question we were kind of bringing up. Because we were wondering, is Madoka, Homura, and Sayaka going to show up? More than likely, Madoka and Sayaka are dead, and if Madoka's dead, Homura's in another timeline. Yeah. We're not going to see any of them. Other than maybe some flashbacks.
Maybe.
Unless someone dies and, they go to see God. Maybe God doesn't exist right now. That's an issue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so she's working with Magius right now. What else? We got a lot of stuff at the end. We should talk about probably Sana real quick. Because we had a small character moment that I like that they didn't take the whole episode on.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a short and sweet kind of...
Because they move her into the group.
Yeah.
And then everyone's being nice to her and she's not used to that. Everyone was used to ignoring her.
Because this is kind of like becoming her family. Yeah. So what happens is like she steps out for a bit, goes back to her old home, which happens, well, I guess like not her old home that we see at the very beginning of the episode, which is like
she's like the stepdaughter that no one likes in the family.
Like she's the stepdaughter from the mother's original marriage. And so like
and the new family's like prodigies. Oh, they're great at sports, they're great at academics, everything, and it's like, oh, you do so much for the name of our family, and Sana doesn't.
Sana is basically a shut-in. They actually like will leave her food outside her bedroom still, but so it's mostly just her coming back, grabbing her things, like cutting off this connection with her family and going back to her found family. Yeah, because like. She has a moment where, like, she feels that like people are calling out to their children, their relatives, like or loved ones, and she's like, oh, there's no one here calling out my name, when she has like a flashback of Iroha calling out hers. So she's like, I gotta get home to the people who care about me.
Yeah.
So, and for her, that's this found family of magical girls who take her in.
And plus, she kind of has no choice because of her wish. No one else besides magical girls can see her ever again.
I mean, I think part of her wish was because she didn't want to be noticed, and I think it was like she didn't want to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
And as a regular girl, I guess in a family like that, it's easy to become a disappointment.
Yeah.
But she has now met people who like not only are the only people who can physically see her, but see her true potential.
Yeah.
Just in general, I think that's what she needed more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
Poor
maybe
Ya-
her wish ended up being a good thing because it allowed her to meet the only people who could see the value in her.
Poor Yachio, now she has 4 kids now.
Oh, there are gonna be more. You never know.
And then they decide to go all get mugs together at the mall in this huge.
What was that store?
It was like a coliseum filled with nothing but mugs.
Yeah.
Who needs that many mugs? No, you don't. No, you don't.
Well, we know what to get you for gifts. Don't get me mugs ever. I have too many. Just saying.
I was gonna say you can get me mugs or books.
Okay.
Those are always.
But yeah,
good.
they decide to get Sana and everyone their own personal mug, and
Because they're fan.
yeah, Vin Dieseling it family. Yeah, Sana gets one with the cat, and Felicia gets one with the cow because she likes milk and meat.
Yachio's is blue with stars on it, and then Tsuruno's is the largest mug. It's
Because she's the
yellow
best
one.
magical girl.
Yeah.
And then Iroha's is like pink with flowers, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a nice moment. It was a sweet sequence.
Everyone shares a little bit. Like, they figure out, who's gonna make dinner and that. And it's like, but it's not like it's not drawn out. Like I feel like a lot of anime tends to do with this kind of thing. It's like it hits all the good points in a decent amount of time. This is why I actually enjoyed this character stuff with Sana.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be like just the whole goddamn episode like it was with who are the tsunderes in episode 3 who wanted to be friends but didn't want to be friends.
Kaede and Reina.
I get to the goddamn point. Sana gets to the goddamn point. She's a good magical girl. I think that's the reason that she's there and those other two aren't. Well, other than the one is currently, I guess, a fugitive witch. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll probably see them again. Maybe.
I don't
But yeah.
know.
We did learn some little bit after that. Because there was an after credits scene.
Like a 5-minute after credit scene.
Good
Yeah.
amount of time.
It's a long-
I feel like we
long
usually
section.
learn the most about what's going on at the end of the episode, but I feel like it was good this episode because we did learn little bits throughout.
Yeah.
It felt like a much more balanced episode.
Yeah, we go back to the Witch of the Magia's headquarters or
Yeah.
something like that, and Mammy.
And we see the shadowy bosses.
Yeah, Mammy gives the report they lost 4 Orwosas.
No. I think there's 4 left.
Oh,
There's
I think because they only lost the AI. They only lost the one Owosa.
I thought they said-
and then
They
some
left-
witches.
They left
Or-
the one,
Yeah.
then they lost another. That's the Owl Water.
Mm-hmm.
They lost another one, I
I think,
think,
yeah.
earlier on.
Yeah, I think they
which
said they
was
lost
the
4.
maze.
Yes.
Then they lost, I think, one way towards the beginning.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
forgetting
4
which
that
one
we're
it was.
down. We're down 4.
Okay. So how many did they say was? They said there was a number left, right?
Yeah.
No, Mammy said they lost. I think Mammy in a report said they lost 4 Orwosas, or however you pronounce
But
that.
there were still at least a few more.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Don't quote
Alright.
me. I
Well-
think.
So we don't see who the 2 bosses are, but we got another theory on
We
who
know
those-
who they are.
Yeah, because
There's the
that.
only other 2 people who we haven't seen anything else about, except we have seen flashbacks of them constantly.
Yeah.
Not constantly, but a good amount of times.
Yeah,
So-
Ui's hospital mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because they're talking
Because it
to
was 2 people,
2
and
people.
then as soon as I said that, I'm like, hey, do you think that's the older versions of the sister's friends from years before?
Yes.
And you guys were like, what? And then one of the names got dropped, and it's one of them.
Yeah.
So, I can call this show so much.
And then the Wonder Twins show up to.
My question is the Wonder Twins show up to make me for you food because someone's got to take care of her.
Yeah.
But because Yachio can't do it anymore, because they're not friends.
They're broken up.
Don't you hate that?
But so, what was I saying?
You had a question.
I guess my question is then, why are they like the bosses? Like, are they here because Ui disappeared?
I mean, maybe they had something to do with it. What I can tell you to begin with is they might have had a codependent relationship to begin with. I know at least one of them was very mechanically minded and was constantly working on like science stuff. And I think the other one was helping, but was a little more of like they gave it like a back and forth with it.
Which is kind of weird though, because in the flashbacks, those two always didn't get along. They always fought with each other. So why would they now become bosses of a?
I think the reason that they're working together now is because their third wheel, which is what held them together, went missing for no reason. And they can't figure it out.
I mean, they fought, yes, but it always seemed to me, granted, I don't remember everything that they were fighting about, but it always seemed less like, I hate you, and more like, I disagree with your ideas. I think there was at least a level of mutual respect between them, that they were like at least willing to listen whether or not they agreed with what they said. And I think that can allow for good partnership. You don't always want to work with people who like constantly want to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because, different perspectives, different ideas and stuff, you can bounce ideas off that person and make something very interesting. If they're the leaders and they've been creating the Yuasa and all this other stuff, they have affected the magical girl game in a way that no one else has.
Right.
And I think two people who are probably some level of like genius prodigies working together and off of each other could do something like that.
Right.
My question is,
are they the reason the QB can't get in?
I'm more than willing to bet.
Do you think they're working to try and bring Yui back from a disappearance?
Possibly, no idea.
Maybe.
What I'm wondering is, does one of them have white hair? Is one of them the coordinator?
Maybe.
I'm trying to remember
Wait. So
did one of the little girls have white hair? That's what I'm
I
asking.
don't remember, but for some reason the weird tassel thing with the hair is like sparking something with me.
Was that a tassel or was that someone's hair? Because it looked white.
It was like, I think white, but there was like a hair tie like off to the side and it was coming down and there's like a tassel at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to remember.
I feel like we could go back and just look at some of these, but we're just not gonna.
No.
So we'll have to find out. But it's possible that, maybe they're both running the Magius. One is also running just the general magical girls, and the other is running the main Magius group. But they work together.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the coordinator has something to do with it.
Yeah.
They have a power set that's just too... I feel like it was set up and it was like, you can be altered. What the hell does that mean? That's like saying the word soul gem and me not asking, why is it called that?
Yes. Also, another thing that we should probably bring up real quick. So, it's not just Iroha who can do the whole, hey, I touch you, you get super powered.
Yeah.
Like Felicia and Tsurano did that, and Felicia got a giant fire hammer.
Yeah, she took on the best magical girl's powers. And we noticed that Fangirl, the best magical girl of all time, did not take on Felicia's powers at all. Because she doesn't need them. Because she is more powerful than everyone else. And I will hear no arguments to the contrary.
So I guess that's like, that disputes that it's not just Iroha.
I don't even remember
it is
her
like
name.
Tsuruno.
Okay.
But
take
that
your word
is
for it.
like, I guess, I believe in the comments it was like a Connect is what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another demonstration of that ability.
It might be that anyone can do that simply because they've met with the coordinator, which unfortunately does something else. It also drives home just how really useless Iroha is.
Yeah.
Because she can't fight on her own. And we were like, oh, she's a support character. She can power people up. Well, if anyone can do that, well, there's no point to you being on this team.
Well,
I would be putting them in the box and getting out some other Pokemon.
she brought everyone together in a way.
Yeah, but so did Madoka, and she was useless until the end of the show.
Yeah, that's kind of a running theme here. Is that like the one character who isn't like super powered is the one that they focus on. Like that's like the character that they follow.
I kind of get that hero's journey. Luke Skywalker started out as nobody as well, but it didn't take a whole long time before Luke started showing some level of potential.
I mean, he literally blew up the Death Star in the first movie.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe there. Well, she also. She also's got the ability where she can turn in and out of being a witch, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think we're covering in this area. It seems like everyone seems to have that ability too.
Yeah, but she's like the only one so far that can turn back into a regular magic.
No. Yin-Yang twins did it, and so did Little Witch Academia.
Kaede.
Little Witch Academia.
She looks like a witch. That's all I got. I don't remember her name. They're such throwaway characters sometimes. I'm going with what I know. I still don't remember Yin-Yang twins' names.
Like I'm saying, I think that is a side effect of the adjustment.
Yeah. So, again, there's nothing special about Iroha. Except she's got a missing sister. So unless the sister turns out to be magical god, I don't know.
Unless this whole story is just Iroha's fault.
That's entirely possible, too. Which I guess makes her the most important character, just very uninteresting.
Burn.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone heard me say that, so... I don't know, what else? Do we have any other... I feel like we covered everything.
Not really. I don't have anything else that I can really think of other than Alina and JoJo poses.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a very Shaft character.
Yeah.
Like, everyone here is a Shaft character, but she is, like, milking it Shaft character.
I mean, I guess that's the good thing about this show. Whether we like it or dislike it, there's always room to talk and theorize.
Yeah. I feel like we were able to cover a little more this time, though, like organic. We kind of milked it a little bit last time.
Well, we were just talking... I think we were just basically getting off all our complaints with the show last week.
Yeah.
I think last week y'all were just talking shop.
A little bit. I feel like every time you watch something, there's always going to be those episodes that kind of, like, fall to the wayside a little bit that you kind of have to talk about. Here's my gripes, here's my things that I like. What do we feel like... Do we have any... What are our major questions going into these last, like, 3 episodes?
How the Wings of the Magius formed, why Mammy joined them.
Well, I feel like those two could be like wrapped together into one, possibly, depending.
And I guess, what happened to the people from episode 3 that, the one where solved that cliffhanger.
I guess we could include the sister. What
What
was the wish that caused this to happen? Was it a wish she made? Was it Iroha's wish? What was that? I guess that's about it, because I feel like you kind of summed up most of it with the Magius thing, because I feel like as soon as they explain the Magius, we'll get how they made stuff, we'll get how they coordinated everything, we'll get how, like, that's just a big bad kind of thing. Well, are they bad? I don't know. Maybe it's all the QB's fault again.
Probably.
Maybe there was a rogue QB.
Oh yeah, that's another good question too.
Yeah,
what's the deal
Baby
with
QB?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the deal with Baby QB?
He's Scrappy Doo of the series.
Oh God.
but he doesn't talk.
He hasn't spoken yet, so he's already less annoying than Scrappy.
I'm thinking maybe they just kind of need him there.
Yeah. Maybe they, like, devolved a QB?
Well, no, because, like, I'm trying to remember from, like, the original series, like, because QB ate up the grief seeds. If they used the grief seed up too much, then it turned back into a witch, from what I remember.
Yeah, he was a disposal unit.
So I think they just have him around as a disposal unit, maybe.
But I guess so.
Because they need something to get rid of them. If they don't have any adults, then...
The thing is, they're not killing the witches that much. So he might just be like a backup plan in case something goes really wrong. But they want witches, so wouldn't they want a grief seed to be used up to the point where it becomes a witch again?
There are a couple different witches. Like, for the magical girls who aren't with the Magius, they're using the grief seeds up.
Okay.
So...
But again, if you use a grief seed too much, you could just make another witch. Wouldn't the Magius just want another witch? It's a renewable resource at that point.
But they're not. But who's to say which ones are with the Magius and which ones aren't?
I get that. I don't know. It just seems like they would rather like just take them and use them again than, and maybe that's why there's so many witches. Maybe they're recycling witches so much that's why there's so many there. It seems abnormally high because none of them are actually going away.
I don't know. Maybe the QB's her sister. Who knows?
That would be interesting. She got transmorphed into.
I would just randomly wish that your sister is not sick anymore and they become part of a cat hive mind.
Because that cat hive mind can get rid of her disease.
Well, that would explain why.
You could also do that if you're just dead.
That would explain why the little QB is always attracted to Aroha and always wants to be with her.
Does it? I feel like we've only seen it like 3 times.
Exactly, and each time it goes to Aroha.
Well, maybe it has other favorite magical girls that it goes around to. There's apparently a lot of magical girls in the city that we're not seeing.
Yeah, but Yachio never saw that little QB until Aroha showed up.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair point by you.
And honestly, I'm just
Maybe.
spitballing.
Maybe all of these will be answered in the next episode.
Knowing Shaft and knowing Madoka Magica, anything's possible. Madoka became God in the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
So
No, Homer became the devil in the 3rd movie. Madoka became God in episode 12.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
Should you transition to another
We
magical
might as
girl?
well. I think we've talked this to the point where like that's it. We got nothing else to talk about.
Yep.
And do a show with less complexity.
Yeah. I gotta adjust something real quick. Make sure we've got enough room on this. Yeah, we're good. So Tokyo Mew Mew episode 43 to 46. Where do we go from here? I think we left off with Zakuro the Betrayer.
Yes.
So, spoiler, it's just the exact same episode as the first time they thought that Zakuro was going to be the evil Power Ranger.
Yeah. Pretty
And,
much.
yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a complete rehash.
Yeah.
What? I'm looking at this episode description. Hang on. So Dren tells Zakuro to trade them, invites Zakuro to join. Something about Deep Blue being a god. Mew Aqua needed to help him teleporting away with Sakura. There was something about birds. There was a swan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, the birds from the other episode. Right, those things were holding a blue orb of magic. And yeah, I think what happened? Minton Zakuro fought, right?
Yeah.
It was big to do, and ultimately Zakuro was like, "Kill me, bro!" And they don't, because friendship.
Yep.
Even though you're a shitty friend, Zakuro.
But she just wanted to go to LA. She just wanted to be able to make her own decisions.
I mean, I get it. Everyone else kind of sucks. If you're the only... I mean, she is the main person pulling their weight. But at the same time, it's like, they kind of fucking need you because they suck otherwise, even if you are a shitty friend for, like, almost letting your friend die. Mm-hmm. I keep using the word friend. I don't know that they're friends. But of course they are friends at the end because everything is forgiven.
All
for
is
reasons.
forgiven.
Because friendship is magic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've got... Like, I remember this episode. I got nothing
Was this
else.
where they talked a little bit about, like, the other planet for the elf people? Or was that another episode? Or was that the episodes even before? I'm losing track a little bit because,
so,
like,
from
a
what I
bunch
can
of things
read
have
from the
happened
episode
now.
description here, apparently something about the blue aqua and how the aliens maybe made it is one of the descriptions I am reading here.
Okay.
But not sure. The city gets turned into a jungle in the next episode.
Oh yeah, they planted a bunch of trees in that. That's all I remember from it. These have not been very memorable episodes for me, other than like one or two big moments, but I'm like trying to remember if that actually happened in this one.
But apparently the Mew Mews defeat the monster, but they're unable to figure out what caused the force to appear in the first place. Wow. Great! I think this was just a filler, just to fill in a gap.
I feel like we've run into a lot of filler lately.
Yeah, it's very true.
I genuinely don't remember this episode.
I don't either. Because I
We're
haven't
not
watched
even
it in
on the- yeah.
years.
What did they fight? They found the stuff in a tree. Oh yeah, they turned the tree into like... The tree was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for everyone listening to this. Because like, I know we sound like we have no idea what we're talking about. We kind of don't at this point, because it's like... I don't know. There's a lot of things going on right now for everyone. But... Yeah, I think we're getting more stuff with Mark now, occasionally. The Blue Knight is showing up.
Yeah.
They're still thinking that maybe Elliot is the Blue Knight, but then they show up in the same place at the same time.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, how could you do that? Well, he turns into a cat. I'm sure he can do other things. I don't know. He's got some dumb powers. I've talked about him being a dumbass to begin with. So, we won't go into too much detail. But yeah, you can skip this episode. I don't think anything happened.
Not anything that I can really remember.
Episode 45.
Stuff happens.
The riddle dissolves the truth about the Blue Knight. It's Mark.
Yeah.
Did I mention that it could have been him before?
You did.
Okay.
Actually, you were guessing it like when me and Gav were basically like saying, oh, we're gonna tell you it's not Elliot. We're just
Okay,
gonna
so I'm like,
straight
it's
up
Mark? Well, I don't know what episode that was. That was a while ago.
That was around the time when we were watching episode like 19
Okay.
or something. But anyway, yeah. So,
Yeah, so it's Mark. It's Valentine's Day, and Zoe doesn't know how to make chocolate.
Nope, because
So,
Valentine's Day in Japan is literally a holiday where the girls give the guys chocolate. And depending on your relationship with the guy,
you have to make it yourself.
yeah, you have to make it yourself. It has to be either like very common or like super expensive, because like the kind of chocolate you give them shows them your love. Blah 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 blah.
So you
blah,
gotta
blah,
make
blah.
special chocolate.
Don't they
And
have
so-
another holiday where it's the reverse, where the guys give girls
That's
chocolate?
White Day, which is like March 15th, March something or other, March 14th.
Is that like around St. Patrick's Day?
It is.
Okay.
That's coming up
it's,
next week.
It's White Day, and I do. If it is March 15th, then that means it is on Ichigo's birthday.
Oh, so she gets presents on presents.
Maybe.
Yeah, so that's all going on, and yeah, I feel like most of this episode just revolved around her learning how to cook chocolate, and I guess Mark is having bad dreams that he might be the big bad as well. I think we got another... I feel like I guessed this before. Is it a Piccolo situation where he used to be part of an evil demon creature, but then they split in half, and now it's good Piccolo and bad Piccolo, but eventually he became Kami, and then they're just gonna... You know what? Dragon Ball Z was a little more complicated character-wise than people give it credit for. But is this basically what's happening?
It's basic. Deep Blue is
Do
in.
they have a yin-yang thing between Deep Blue and Blue Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
thought so.
basically, Deep Blue kind of is like dormant, but sort of like in possession of Mark, because like it was kind of like a.
Poor Dren. Your crush is in love with your boss.
Oof.
I miss it when he was actually Dren.
I know.
We've gone over this.
Yeah. Won't that just?
Yeah, they fight, and I think this is the one where Dren got really weird looking. Like he went kind of psycho killer crazy.
It might have been. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's this episode.
Yeah, that was interesting to see, seeing him go full crazy. That's about all I got. There's not a lot for these episodes. I feel like, other than like learning that Mark is the Blue Knight and Zakuro's a terrible friend, nothing really happened in these episodes. What was episode 46?
Episode 46.
New reinforcement, protect the Earth together.
Let's see.
Okay, so Mark having more bad dreams about his girlfriend crying. I mean, you're a very lame boyfriend. I'm not surprised. His dream comes true. Okay, so now he's psychic. Cool. Elliot does something. There's a strange light being emitted by a river. Oh yeah, the river was like super pure or something?
It's the Mew Aqua.
Yeah, purifying stuff in the river, and the aliens go to the river, and they fight, and yeah, the lollies are in the river. But there was no Mew Aqua. I'm really confused about Mew Aqua.
What about it?
It's like everyone's like, oh, there's this energy source that's creating this thing that's definitely Mew Aqua. And then there's no Mew Aqua, so where's the power coming from? This show I don't even think this show established any kind of rules for like how anything works. So they're just like willy-nilly, hey, you know that magic? It's not magic. What was it? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. That's dumb. That's just dumb writing. If you want to complain in the comments about how I'm interpreting what's going on here, feel free.
I mean,
I'm not saying that I'm a genius or anything, or like I actually know what's going on, because I don't.
Wasn't this show made for like little kids or preteens or something?
Yeah,
like that?
but so was Avatar, and it was smart.
Well, I think Avatar was like a once in a generation thing, like Batman the Animated Series.
I get that, but there's other shows outside of Avatar that are like kind of aimed towards kids, where you can have established rules of some kind and work within a universe without just being like, here, it's magic, whatever. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist has a good system for stuff, not necessarily for 10-year-olds or younger, with the dog thing and stuff, but you know, there's other things. I'm sure we could name a few more, but like, I don't know, I feel like maybe, I don't know that this show thinks of its audience as very intelligent at all.
Probably doesn't.
They probably just made the show to say, oh, hey, we got our own Sailor Moon, only this time we're
furries.
Or naming ourselves after food.
Yeah, I think that's my main complaint about this episode, and kind of like some other episodes. Like, how many times has it been that we've shown up looking for Blue Aqua, Mew Aqua, whatever it's called this time, because there's been a signature, a magical radiation signature.
Which apparently can be a lot of different things, including different crystals.
I'm going to throw it out there. I think we might be able to chalk this up to more dumbassery on the side of Elliot and Wesley. These two know so little about what they're working with, they can't even tell the difference between the energy emitted by Mew Aqua and the light energy emitted by a light bulb. Why are these two the Zordons?
I don't know.
This is when Al completely shuts off.
I'm not shut off, but I'm a little shut off. I don't know. I've said this before a lot of times, I feel like. What are these idiots doing?
We don't know.
I mean, I can't really go with what Sakura did and be like, you know, play that off. That was just being a bad person. Some of the decisions that the Mew Mews make, I get it. They're kids. They're not always going to make great decisions, and they don't really know about their powers and what they can do entirely. They have a better idea at this point, but early on I could be like, okay, yeah, you're making stupid decisions because you have no idea what you're doing. I get that. Elliot and Wesley should know what they're doing, and they have no fucking clue. I mean, can we point out more shows where they knew what they were doing? Dragon Ball. Bulma shows up in episode 1, has a locator that actually knows what it's locating. She was like 10. 12? 14? She was underage, I know that much.
Okay.
I'm going to say 14 for now. Correct me in the comments if you want. I don't know. What was Goku, like 5? Something like that?
Yeah. He was really young.
Yeah. Good series, too. Also had kind of some established rules. Yes, there was a little bit of anime bullshit every now and then. A little bit of like, oh, I'm suddenly more powerful because reasons. But, you know, it didn't...
I feel like, honestly, with this show, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, like, pad the show to get to the season finale. So that way they could actually, like, get to some of the important parts. Because episode number 45, it's basically, like, 2 chapters away from the finale of
Okay.
the entire series, which takes up about 3 to 4 chapters.
Well, after this, we're like 6 episodes away from it being done.
Yes.
So they wanted to fit all that in that time. I don't know. I don't know how they're spacing this out. Here's my
Like 3
thing.
to 4 chapters takes
You-
up the last 2 episodes. Literally.
Fuck off. What?
Yes.
Wait, what are we?
Why? Why? You have so many extra episodes. Why do you need to pad it? You could have spread that out. Again, do I have to bring up Avatar again?
Maybe
Their finale,
well,
4 whole episodes devoted to the end,
well-
and it was great because they didn't have to rush anything and they just made it work.
My theory is maybe the anime producers or studios said, "Hey, we want a certain amount of anime episodes."
They have a certain amount of anime episodes. They could have fit the thing in there. You don't have to fit.
Maybe they didn't have
end.
enough story material to make so many episodes.
This one just said they had enough story material for this ending.
Wow.
Like, here's the
I
thing.
get a little panic. Why are we going to get 4 episodes of filler before 2 episodes, which include like, how many chapters did you say are going to be in the last 2 episodes?
4.
Why do you have to fill 4 chapters worth of material into 2 episodes when you have 6 episodes to work with? That's my question.
Because that would be a long ass finale. Is my entire guess.
I'm not saying you have to do the whole thing, but you could do a little bit of setup in the next 2 episodes,
Yeah.
and then have a 4-episode finale. I don't know. I'm fine with long finales in shonen shows. I watch Digimon and stuff. There was like, I was actually kind of wanted to mention that during Magia Record because like it was a fight on top of a TV station. It kind of reminds me of when they fought Myotismon in season 1.
Can I just actually go through some of these?
Go for it.
And I want to actually see like how many episodes like are actually pertinent to the plot.
Okay, you do that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna still sit here in a guffaffle.
1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry I'm getting so heated about this, but
I mean,
Episode 4 is actually a mix of like the 4th chapter is actually like
I
a
thought you were
mix
just
of
going for the end ones.
Episode 4 and episode 7.
I get early on
The
before there was
episode
real
5
plot.
doesn't exist. Episode 6 actually is kind of a mix of episode 6 and 19.
Okay.
That's in there.
Can I just say
episode
real
7's
quick?
in there.
Can I just say real quick?
Yes.
I'm fine maybe early on having a filler or 2 just for little extra character things or for just a little bit of padding. It's before you've gotten into the actual plot. That's fine. But we're in plot mode now. We're heading towards the end of the show. We're in the end game now. Can we keep it to what's actually important?
3. Let's see, 4.
And can I throw this out there?
5,
There's a way of making these work. I feel like there's a way of making these like padded out episodes with the Mew Aqua work. Instead of being like, oh, it wasn't actually Mew Aqua, how about make the people in this show look a little more competent and say, yes, it was Mew Aqua, and the bad guys got it. And that actually raises the stakes, at least seemingly, because it seems like, oh, Deep Blue is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Like, every time the bad guys get the Mew Aqua, he gets stronger. So, you could actually build him up better, I think, for the end.
11.
But no, we're just like, oh, fake out, this episode meant nothing. Am I crazy? I know how I sound. I sound.
No.
I'm a grown man talking about a magical girl show for like 8-year-olds, and I'm complaining
15,
about the logic of the plot, the narrative, and the rules of this world. But shouldn't there be some consistency?
18,
no, I hear you.
I mean, what do you think? Do you like if we just had the bad guys win a couple times and take the Mew Aqua, would it really affect anything? We don't know how much more power Deep Blue needs to resurrect himself. You could just be like, here's enough to get you a little further. He's like, I need more. That's all you have to do. Just say, give me that. I need more. And they'll go get more for another pad episode. But it at least still raises the stakes. It adds a ticking clock that I don't even know whether we have right now or not.
23, 24, 25.
You're still counting.
Yes! Give me a second.
No, you're fine. No, I hear you. I hear your. Not so much with this show because I've only seen a couple episodes, but like as far as like shows where like the plot can be so much more if they didn't spread it out with so much filler. I believe me, there's been plenty of shows that I've watched where it's like you could if you're gonna have extra episodes, at least make it count to something.
Yeah. Because it's like, it's not like you can't do things with this premise and these characters. I think there could be plenty of interesting scenarios with these guys in them that you could do. What's up?
So the last book starts probably, I believe, at the end of episode 49. So we got like 3 episodes.
3 episodes for how much is in a book?
Like that's about like maybe like a chapter and a quarter for like each part of this.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So what just happened for me beforehand was a bit of an overreaction. It was a wrong estimate. But
there are about like 25, 27-ish episodes here that are maybe sort of irrelevant, but they
so half the series is pointless.
Yeah, and then there are other
so this
episodes.
could have been a 26 episode series, be very tightly written, and probably could have been one of the best magical girl shows of all time.
Maybe.
If they just like kept it tight, right? I'm not gonna say best magical girl show of all time, even where it's plot driven. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say like certain episodes, like certain parts of the manga are definitely rewritten in here because where the Blue Knight shows up, she's not sick. She's on a date with Mark, and she gets knocked out of the aquarium by a killer shark.
Did we see that? I don't remember that.
No, because she's sick and she's being chased by aliens through the streets.
I would have liked to see that episode.
Like,
oh, well.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that was fine. Being attacked in an aquarium and then the Blue Knight showing up and basically being like, I am here to protect you, and then going away and her having to find Mark. Like, he actually shows up after she discovers that she can turn into a cat.
I mean, that's fine.
Like, everything's just all sort of all over the place.
It just makes me wonder, like, I get why a production studio would want 2 seasons, 52 episodes instead of 26, because you can air more stuff, you can get more money out of it, and I'm assuming they just didn't have to pay people extra to write more plot because they just didn't care. But
I think, like, the thing with these magical girl animes is
they want them running as long as they can so they can merchandise?
Not just that, but also it's like a lot of times with like children's shows, they will take the original source material and they will pad it out with other episodes that have to do with friendship, loving yourself, and a bunch of other things, because those are like key things that you will see as filler episodes in every single magical girl anime that is out there.
Okay, I get that.
And I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's just the fact that it's a common thing that they do.
But it happens in the plot already, organically, without you having to add it. I feel like there's episodes in here that were probably plot-based to begin with. Like, any of the episodes where they're actually, like, getting a new magical girl there. Like, Lettuce episode. It was about her getting friends and stop being lonely. Yeah. That's fine. That was a good episode. I'm fine with that. It was kind of funny to see how often they repeated the whole combat castanet thing. But I'm just... If it's already there, if you already have it, and it's there in a better form than what you could do if you were writing it yourself,
right?
The only reason you're doing this is to draw things out longer.
Yeah.
I don't know when the manga finished. Did the manga finish before or after the show was made? Or was starting production?
The manga was airing from, I believe, 2000 through 2003, which the anime itself aired from 2002 to 2003.
So more than likely, the manga did finish before the series finished.
Probably, yeah.
So you're not having like a Dragon Ball Z situation where you're padding the original runtime because you don't want to catch up to the manga. You're just doing it because you can, and you want to just milk this. I don't like that. I think you could have made a much tighter series out of this than they did.
Yeah. I'm not going to defend it.
Maybe there's an edit of here, or like someone has an episode list they could just be like, here, watch these, and this is actually going to give you a much better version of the show. I don't know.
I could compile a list for you.
I don't want to watch it again.
I know.
I want to watch clips of the dub again. That's it.
Like, I can compile a list of, like, all the episodes that are actually in the manga.
You just told me, like, 25 of these episodes are useless. That is literally half the series.
Yep. Basically.
The manga ended a month before the anime.
Started or ended?
Ended.
Okay.
The manga ended in February 2003. The anime went through March 29th, 2003.
Okay, but I'm more than willing to bet that they were in communication with the manga writer.
Oh yeah.
And had the information of what was going
Yeah.
on and happening as it was happening.
They like had a whole team like working on this manga. So like it wasn't just the writer illustrator. Like Mia Ikumi like did all of the drawings. Like they had basically like a story writer to like basically like help like do like the story arcs for the plot. From what I can understand, like it's a little bit confusing considering most mangas usually aren't written this way with like a team instead of just like the mangaka doing it all by themselves. And then just like having an editor to like send it to the magazine so that way it can get published. And then like the chapters themselves will get like, once they have like enough substantial material, they'll like compile it all into a volume and then they'll put it on sale. Which is typically what happens. But yeah, no, this was a very different animal, like altogether when they were making it.
Okay. So maybe there's a little bit of an excuse to have some level of padding. I don't know. It just kind of, I don't know. I feel like there was plot in these episodes. It just felt a little useless to me.
I will also say that the manga is definitely more Ichigo-centric
I had a feeling.
than like all of this, mostly because like they do have like character-specific episodes. Like the characters get fleshed out a little bit, but definitely not to the depth that they're trying to do in the anime.
Which that's fine if you want to improve on something like this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't need like a straight adaptation from manga to adaptation. I mean, like certain things always have to be either cut or condensed or fleshed out or changed. You need to change things to work in whatever media you're working in. I just feel like there's a lot of extra fluff that is totally unnecessary to what I think otherwise would be a much more decent show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I have anything else to say. You guys?
Not really.
No.
I feel like I just ranted for the entire time.
It's okay. We know, like, we kind of figured, like, after we got through, like, all of what, like, 4 kids had, that, like, it was going to be
I miss
harder
Kids.
to digest.
I mean, I'm not say it's bad. I found some episodes fun and funny and stuff like that. Like, as much as I was, like, weirded out by it, I thought Pudding's episode with they suddenly have a husband or a fiance, I thought that was funny, at the very least. It was weird and kind of interesting. A lot of it's boring, though.
Yeah. Like, we only really get one pudding-centric chapter, and that is literally the one where her and Tart are trapped underground.
Yeah, and that one was
that's it.
actually really boring. Because literally nothing happened until the end.
And then Sakura doesn't really get a lot of development, I don't think, in the
Of course she
manga.
doesn't, because they just use her same storyline twice.
Yep.
I mean, say what you want. Lettuce had the same story like 3 times.
Lettuce gets a little bit of character development. I can't even say.
At least it was a little different every time.
Yeah. I'm not really sure about Mint. Like, I think her character development kind of comes a little bit at a time through the manga itself, but that's about it.
I feel like we got a couple episodes with her. Some of them had to do with Zakuro.
Yeah.
And some of them just had to do with, like, not being an asshole and not being a snob. Or, like, she had an episode pretty recently with that rich girl who was her, air quotes, rival.
Yep.
And that was fine.
Yep.
It's like, it was something different. Like, maybe I'd be happier if they just weren't repeating storylines.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know. We're still going to watch this at the end.
Yay!
I've invested too much time into this not to finish it.
And then you can...
That or you guys can do it. I'm just not going to care next week. I don't know.
I mean, I think people enjoy hearing you talk more than they enjoy hearing me talk.
Don't count yourself short.
But-
I feel like you bring up a lot of better, like, more concise points than I do. I'm mostly just, why the fuck am I watching this?
The thing is I don't really bring up points. I just bring up, like, interesting things that I found while watching it.
That's interesting. Those are cool.
I
People
mean,
might have missed those.
I don't know. Like, I just kind of, like Like, I can kind of see where they're going with, like, sort of little tidbits of, like, storyline and, like, what they're trying to do with, like, fleshing things out. But that's mostly because I actually, like, when I got into college, really paid attention in my literature classes because I actually found that analyzing things was fun. Because why the fuck not? I don't know.
Yeah, you can go deep with stuff. It's fun. It's interesting.
Are my theories always right? No.
My theories are almost never right unless I'm watching Madoka, something Madoka related, and then I'm on the ball. How many theories did I have? I don't know. There might be a count somewhere of how many theories I've had going into a show and like been wrong on all of them. Except, man, I know Madoka and I know where it's going.
And you also got the Char's thing from Astro Lost in Space, right, too.
Oh, that was by the seat of my pants, man. I was just shot in the dark.
Well, you said you said he was the hidden agent, the villain.
I just said that because he seemed kind of weird, and then later we found out that no one could verify his backstory. So I'm like, okay, shot in the dark worked.
Still worked.
But yeah, that's it for this week. Next week, Magia Record 11.
Yep.
We're only doing 3 episodes of Mew Mew next week, so we can have an even, clean thing to do. It'll be 47, to 49, and yeah, the week after that we'll be finishing it, and we'll announce what we'll be watching after that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and feel free to check out some of our other gaming videos, our weekly podcast Anime Yay or Nay, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!